Hey guys, today I wanted to discuss something in particular, not just ramble about anything. I wanted to talk to you about writing, which is something that I do, I've been doing for a while now. I have been studying for it. I haven't published anything or, doing like professional writing, if you will. I haven't done that yet. It's quite difficult, but I'm going to discuss like the main things that I think you should consider before writing. I mean, I think writing can be something that you do for fun, something that you do to feel relaxed or to get emotions out or to just have fun, just for the heck of it if you want. So I'm going to give you some tips for that. Number one would be to prepare something. I mean, before every time you write, you should always be prepared for whatever the subject is. I mean, I'm not saying that I mean, there are different formats. You can write novels, you can write short stories, you can write something. I mean, short stories can be 1 page or can be 20 pages or 50 pages even. It depends. And novels can go from 80 pages to Harry Potter, like 700s, or like, Stephen King, who writes like 1,000 pages, and that's just one novel. And it can be anything, a novel or a short story. That are really, I don't know how you say in English, micro stories, I think, that are like 1 line, 5 lines at most. I mean, there are different types of literature, and you should plan for that. And also, you should plan for the subject you're going to be talking about. I mean, in every single piece of literary um, of literature, if you will, you have to be mindful of what the subject is. That's the most important thing. I mean, if you are going to talk about difficult subjects like rape or like violence or like racism or like um, homophobia or terrorism or whatever, or if you're going to talk about, I mean, you have to be a little general with the subject. I mean, it can be love, but afterwards, I would advise you to have a line in your head that explains what your text is about. So you can, I mean, let's say the subject is love, and the one line, the log line, which is the word you use in for screenplays, the log line can be two people find each other in the subway. So you set the story there. So yeah, I mean, the subject is really important, the log line, if you will, and yeah, and the piece of the kind of literature you want to do with it. Number two would be the kind of format you want to use. I mean, if it's a screenplay, you may want to use a software that is designed to write screenplays. I personally have written a lot of screenplays, and I never use any of the software available. I only use like Microsoft Word for everything. Why is that? Because I think you cannot limit yourself. And yes, there are some standards that, for example, in like in short story contests or screenplay contests or that kind of things, those kinds of things. Sorry, they will demand you like certain things, like at the end of college where they say like the letter must be this big and this type, and it must be formatted this way. Some people and in some work, in some jobs, for some work, they ask that, but mostly I think you should design a way to do your own thing, if you will. I mean, not that it can be something like super strange, like using a very weird font uh, for everything. I don't really advise that because that can be dangerous. And I mean, and you cannot write like in a 20. I mean, the size 20 letters, because that would be ridiculous. Normally it's 12, 11, 12, 13 maybe if the letter is small. But you can choose your own format. You can choose to format your dialogues in a certain way. Same for not only for screenplay, but also for novels, short stories, everything. You can make your own thing as long as you don't like violate the general standards of literature, which are really clear. I mean, you have to be. I mean, sometimes people jump lines from one paragraph to the other. Some other people don't. Normally, you don't do that because of the printing, because in novels and short stories and everything, what it's taking into account is the fact that it's going to be printed in the future, so you have to be mindful of that and how it's going to look when printed. So yeah, I think that the format is something really important to take into account. Another thing I would say, I would advise to you, is um, to have like a moment in the day or during the week or whatever where you only write, like commit yourself to it, because if you want to do it right, if you want to make a good short story, a good novel, a good whatever, a good screenplay, you have a good poem, you have to be really dedicated to it. I mean, I'm not the kind of person that's like, you have to be 20 hours a day in it, because I don't think that works. I think it's ridiculous when some people are like, oh, I'm going to work every single day of this week on this, and I'm going to put my head on it. Like in college, when people have like their final exams, and everyone and most people do their things, do their work like in one week, like all immersed into it. I don't think you do a good job there, because you don't really investigate, you don't really know what you're talking about. You're just babbling, 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 and sometimes that's good, but that's good only if you really have the talent. And to be honest, practically no one has that talent. If you see how many people try to be writers and how many people are actually published and are actually famous for writing, that's a very small amount. So you should really be like realistic about it, and realize that you have to be dedicated and you have to be responsible with what you do if you want to really be considered at all, uh, like someone to see in that field. It doesn't matter if it's writing. It can be painting, can be in sculpting, can be whatever it is. I mean, any art has that. I mean, I don't know if any other jobs have that. I mean, dedication is good in everything, to be honest. But in the arts, you can really notice if a person is really invested and it's really like doing the right thing, and just there, with everything on the material that they want to create. So I think it's very, very important to have a moment in the week, to have, like, let's say every Sunday afternoon I have 2 hours and I write on those 2 hours. I think that's great, because you know that those 2 hours between, let's say, 3 and 5 p.m. on a Sunday are the moment of the week that I write. And I think you have to have that, because you create a certain order in your mind that you have to do that, and you pressure yourself in a good way to make things happen. And I think that's it. That is very important. I think it's number four. Number four would be to just practice, 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 practice. I mean, in everything, like in sports, like in repairing machines, like in anything, you have to practice whatever you want to do. And if it's writing, you have to write a lot. Yes, you have to read a lot. Of course, it's better if you read a lot, because you have broader knowledge of how literature works, what you can do, what you cannot do, like how literature is in every specific genre. So if you want to write science fiction, it's like this. If you want to write dramas, it's like this. If you want to write romance or erotic novels or whatever, it's good to read those, because to read different books, because you learn how the business is run basically, and how what they accept and what they not accept. The thing there about practice is that I think that you must write even more than you read. Why? Because I think that the interest of writing is that you can give your own impression of things with it. I mean, you can really expose everything you think, everything you have seen, everything you have experienced with writing. And yes, reading helps you do that, it helps you find the words, if you will, but only in practice you will know how to get those things out. You have to really write. I mean, there are people that, I mean, each person has their own way of doing it, and I think that's great. There are some people, for example, that write everything like in a notepad or something, a physical notepad, or even in the computer. They have like notes, and they have ideas, and they write them down, and they have them like stored for the future, or they have like a scene they haven't figured out. So one day in the subway they notice something, and they're like, oh, that, I'm going to work that, and they write it in, I don't know, the cell phone or whatever, and that's helpful, because but it's only helpful if you use it in practice before writing the proper thing. I'm not saying you have to. I mean, when you are really going to write something, you have to correct yourself a huge amount of times. Actually, my number 5 is corrections, because corrections are the most important thing about writing. Writing in itself, it's not difficult, anyone can do it. It's like in the movie Ratatouille, when the who was it? The chef tells everyone that everyone can cook. What he meant there, and he and it applies to writing, is that yes, every single person can cook, but only a few, or can cook or write, but only a few people are able to write with their hearts, and really showing what they have inside, whatever that is. So, so what I wanted to, what I mean by that is that you can write whatever you want, however you want it, and that's not hard at all. What it's hard is to correct yourself afterwards and check if what you wanted to say has been said, if the words are correct, if the words are the ones that you think are perfect for that. So I think that's very important, because in correcting yourself is where you discover new things about what you wanted to say, because you realize, oh my god, this character is so much deeper than I ever thought. So now I know this about him. It's like meeting new people. As much as you go out with them, if you will, you realize new things about them, and it's great. I mean, about writing and about people, it's amazing, because you every single time you read a paragraph, you discover something, and you're like, oh my god, this could be expanded, this could be maybe shrunk a little bit because it's not really important. Oh my god, I used the wrong word here, but this word I use here is just magnificent, and it came out of nowhere. And you discover a lot about yourself as a writing person, and you discover a lot about what you're writing, no matter if it is short story, novel, screenplay, or whatever. In my channel, in the like main profile of my channel, if you will, I have a link to my blog. I have talking about practice. This is not this is a commentary on before. I have I write every single day from. I have been doing it like for 2 years, maybe. I think I have really lost count. At the beginning, I wrote every single afternoon before lunch, and in like in the, I mean, in my former time zone, let's say afternoon. But now I write in the mornings in the European zone, so it comes out there like at 5 a.m. In the Americas at 5 a.m. So and I have written every single day. Now I have diminished it a bit because I don't write anymore on Sundays because I have realized that I have to have Sundays for me and not to do nothing. So I don't write. I used to write on Sundays too, but not anymore. But I do write every single day, every single morning. Every single morning there's a new short story, and I think that's what it's my way of assuming what I told you before about practicing. That's my way of practicing. And before any of you jump to conclusions or to whatever, I I don't think every single one of those short stories is good. I think that most of them must suck horribly, but I have discovered many things that have helped other projects that I have done, and I think I have improved them because of those mistakes I realized by writing those short stories. Some short stories I'm proud of because I planned them sort of before writing them, but others are just like I woke up and I just think about something and write, and I write for an hour. I mean, it's like a little game I play with myself in order to not order to wake myself up every morning, but to be like active, like have an imagination that is active all the time because, and that's my last advice, imagination is key. If you don't have imagination, I don't think you can be a good writer at all. Maybe of something that's non-fiction, but even in non-fiction you have to have a certain idea of how the world works, and that I think requires a little bit of imagination at least. So imagination is super important. It's the base of every artistic endeavor you have. I don't care if it's dancing or painting or makeup. I think it's another art. If you do cinema, whatever you do in this movie industry, in any single artistic thing, the imagination is the most important. If you don't have it, it's really difficult that you're going anywhere. With even producers have a great deal of imagination, and that's why I mean, the good ones really know how to invest in movies and what to do and what not to do because they have that imagination that artists have. And producers are artists too. They only just prefer have chosen to be in the more let's say money driven part of the business, but they're all artists, and for writing you really have to be immersed in imagination. That's why it's so important to read. That's why it's so important to write down whatever you're thinking, whatever you're imagining, whatever story comes up in your head. I think it's very important to practice that. And in schools today, I think in most countries in the world, I mean, not even in Norway or whatever, I think people don't really write that much, and they don't really explode, don't really know how to take advantage of that imagination, and it has to be taken advantage of because it's one of the most powerful resources we have. I mean, that's why humanity has advanced, because some people, not everyone, has had a tremendous imagination in discovering and has helped them to discover different things, to create machines, to create whatever. I mean, it's thanks to imagination that we live in a world where I can post this video and you can watch it minutes after, I mean, like an hour after I've recorded it. So imagination can do a lot of great things. So yeah, those are my like points for today about writing. I think maybe I've missed some little things, but yeah, I may do another one of these videos soon, maybe on Sunday actually. So yeah, I hope you like this video, and please click subscribe in order to watch more videos, like this video please, and comment whatever you want, whether if it's a question or an actual comment or an opinion or whatever. So thank you so much.